Sections of the AIDS Quilt came through Louisiana this month at Southern and Dillard universities. It's part of the Change the Pattern campaign. It's focusing on communities of color and also the LGBTQ plus community. Dr. Joyce Turner Keller, woman in red.
Yes,
today,
definitely.
And looking good. We've seen you in purple and blue before,
Yeah.
but the red looks wonderful.
Thank
you. You could have an S on the front of your dress because you are a superwoman when it comes to AIDS awareness, activism, and some people think it's gone.
True.
It's not.
It is not gone.
It's not. And the numbers in Louisiana are not great. Again.
No, they're not. We're number 4 again.
That's right. In black and brown, 78.5% of new diagnoses, black and brown.
Correct.
And
people of color.
60% under the age of 34.
Correct.
So the quilt.
Yes.
One of the reasons it came to Louisiana was to remind people this is still happening.
Definitely. And the other reason the quilt was brought to Baton Rouge as well, or came to Louisiana, is because black people are underrepresented on that quilt. As many miles as it is, there are very few of us that have transitioned that are even recognized on the quilt. So basically, the quilt was brought here for us to actually make panels. I just think it's critical that people stop being so complacent and feeling that, they're safe. I did a video for National Black HIV Awareness Day. And the video I didn't put myself in it. I just sat in my window and I videotaped the cars going down the street. And in that video, I mentioned, I wonder how many people knew that it was National Black HIV Awareness Day.
Right.
How many people had actually gotten tested? How many people took for granted they were safe? How many knew knew their status? And then I talked about how we don't have the conversation before we have sex. We'll meet somebody and they look good and, we find out, we see him get out of a car, her get out of a car. And we talk about the profession. And we just get so caught up after a few drinks or whatever, and we go and have sex. But we never talk about what that status is.
Of course, part of that is the medicines that have been formulated and now exist, that you can take a pill and it's supposed to take it away.
And it doesn't. And I think it's critical that people understand that even if you take an injection for PrEP, then one thing you need to do is take that shot every other month, depending on what that medicine is, what has been prescribed.
Right.
The other thing with the PrEP, with the pill, Truvada, that is something that you have to maintain. You don't just take it today because you're going out tonight.
Right.
That pill needs to be taken 28 to 30 days consistently. And then you need to at least, because you don't know how it's working in your system, you need to check with your physician. And that's something you do ongoing. You don't just take it for 30 days and get off of it.
Right. You have been in the streets, you've been where it's happening, you've been
Correct.
where people need help, and few people are willing to go out there and help them.
Right.
You have done that in all realms,
right.
From church to the street. You've been
bus
there.
stops, under the bridge. I've gone even to truck stops, and I've even worked with the company AHF to bring a 18-wheeler to Baton Rouge, what we call a condemnation tour.
Right.
And I even had the police called on me for giving out condoms.
Right.
And then to be accused of being a loose woman, that's okay, because I think we have to be honest about the fact that sex is what it is. We talk about the age limit where people actually getting infected with HIV. That's because we make sex dirty. We don't talk about it. We don't tell our kids that which is forbidden is enticing.
Right.
We don't tell them the risk of having unprotected sex. We just make them feel ashamed about it so they don't talk to us about it.
Right.
But if we're more vocal and more open about that, this is a natural thing that happens between two people who love each other, then it wouldn't be so much. We would actually, I think the numbers would come down if we had the kind of conversation that we need to have. And that conversation should be had after school
Right.
at the kitchen table.
Right,
The
right.
problem is that we don't sit down and talk at the kitchen table anymore.
Let's touch on where Louisiana is right now. And
We're number 4.
number 4 in the nation, which is higher than it was
Well,
after,
we had-
after it was at the top for a while, and then
In 2020, we were number 12.
COVID, right?
After COVID hit, our numbers began to rise.
Of the cases in Louisiana, which again we're 4th now,
Mm-hmm.
over 27% in the New Orleans metro area,
Correct.
and that's known as Region
1.
1.
Uh-huh.
Baton Rouge area is Region 2.
Correct.
That's Metro Baton Rouge, nearly 20% of the cases. I'm not surprised that those numbers are higher in these 2 cities than the rest of the state.
I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed
Yeah.
because it seems like whatever we're preaching and whatever we're teaching is falling upon deaf ears. I just feel like when are people going to actually realize that people are still getting infected with HIV and they're still dying when they don't get into treatment?
You know, that's what I'm hearing from you, because I
Yeah.
can see you work so hard,
I do.
and it's the disappointment that
Yeah.
no matter what you say, it doesn't seem to sink in.
No, it doesn't.
So your outreach, and you have a nonprofit aspirations, which
Correct,
does tons
yes.
of things, but your outreach, how has that changed in the past 5 years?
I'm focused more on the faith-based. I'm focused more on research because so many times we're not exposed to clinical trials, and I know that's what we need to be. We don't need to just be introduced to medicines, but those medicines need to be tested on us,
Right.
so that, you know, we don't just get a blanket diagnosis without them considering, you know, who we are as a race of people, as opposed to just generalizing the medicine that they're giving to us as a people.
Well, on National Black History Month, it's important to have this conversation, and it's always great to have the conversation with you.
Thank you for having me. I always appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.